everybody. In my last couple of videos, I've been talking more on what I thought was coming, my point of view on certain events, and what we needed to do to get ready. Things like growing your own food, building a community network, things like that. But in this video, I wanted to talk about how important it actually was to get out and actually start doing things. Don't just sit in front of the computer or with your phone in your hand watching YouTube, learning about things and listening to people talk about things that are happening and how bad it's going to be and what you need to do to get ready. You actually need to start doing things. Action speaks louder than words. And to that end, this morning I'm out here getting my garden site cleaned up a little bit. I've got a lot of dead vines. I've got vines on the bean poles. I'm taking the poles down, stripping the dead vines off of that. I'm going to pull up tomato stakes, tomato cages. I've got a fence around my garden that I'm going to be pulling up. I don't need it around the garden anymore, so I'm going to remove that. That's going to allow me a little bit more room to plant. But I wanted to briefly show you a couple of things that I've pulled out of my garden here. Last year, and I've said this a couple of other times, I took this garden spot that hadn't been really producing that well for me because the soil was just, and for all intents and purposes, it was dead. You could grow things here, but not very well. You wouldn't get very good results. So last year, I put in truckloads of compost, a truckload of rabbit manure, peat moss. I mulched heavily and I just tilled it in and I kept working it and amending the soil. And as a result, I had a tremendous explosion of growth in my garden last year. Now, my beans grew so well and they grew so thick and heavy that they actually pulled one of my metal T-posts out of the ground. To explain to you, when I set up a row of beans, I have a metal T-post on each end of the row, and I run a doubled paracord line between the two posts. Against that, I lean my bean poles. Well, I've never had a problem with that, but this past year my beans grew so thick and so heavy that the weight of the vines actually pulled one of my T-posts out of the ground. Now, that T-post, there was about 1.5 feet to 2 feet of that post in the ground. I drove it in the ground with a post hole digger, with a post driver, and there was at least 1.5 feet to 2 feet of that post in the ground, and the weight of the vines still managed to pull that T-post completely out of the ground, and the whole row fell over. I had to get my dad over here to help me to stand it back up, and it took both of us struggling to lift the weight of those beans so I could secure that post again. And then I had to put a lot more line on that post to secure it. I had to secure it against the chain link fence that was right next to it. I had to drive it even deeper than it was before, and it was amazing. I've never seen bean poles and beans pull a T-post out of the ground, but they did it. And not only that, just to give you an example of the kind of growth I experienced from amending the soil just for the first year, I got here the base of one of my okra plants. Now, this is about a little over a 2 foot length of the stalk. This is the top part where it was broken off. This is the base where it was in the ground. Now, this is not the largest one. The largest one, this is standing on the ground, and it's about 6.5 feet tall. This is the top. I'm going to show you the base of this stalk and the root that came off of it. This is just one okra plant. Look how big that is. This is easily an inch in diameter. That's an inch worth of stalk right there at the very base. And you see how large that root is. My tomatoes did very similar. I didn't pull any of those up, but I've got larger stems and roots on the remaining tomato stalks in my garden. So this is just from 1 year's worth of amendment. The first year. So naturally I'm going to have to adjust what I grow, how much I grow of it, but I'm going to continue to amend the soil. I'm going to continue to add to it. That's why I'm going ahead and cleaning up now. I've got a thick layer of mulch straw on the ground. I'm going to clean all my posts, all my bean poles and everything out of the garden. And then I'm going to remove all of this straw, set it to the side because I will be putting it back in the garden. But I'm going to go through here, I'm going to till, and I'm probably going to add a little bit more amendment. Not as much as I did last year, but I will be adding some more into it, just because I want to maintain the level of fertility I've gotten in this last year. I don't want to completely deplete it just by using plants, just by growing the plants that I have. I want to keep building on what I already have. That being said, this fence that I'm taking down, which it runs along here and back this way. It's overgrown with vines and some weeds, but I don't need these fences up around the garden anymore. They were mainly there to keep my son's dog out of the garden. Unfortunately, last year my son's dog passed away, but since this is no longer needed to keep animals out of the garden because I'm growing inside a chain link fence, I'm going to be taking these down, and the fence is actually 2 runs of a rabbit wire layered on top of each other like this. So I'm going to be taking all of that down, and that's something that I can use to make tomato cages, make cages for growing potatoes in, and any number of other things. So I'm going to be cleaning that off, rolling it up to reuse at a later time. All of these T-posts are getting pulled up and they're going to be set aside. I'm going to reuse those at a later time. I'm not sure where, but this is actually going to allow me to grow a little bit more, because last year my fence was here. I had to bring my tomatoes out so far just so I could get between the fence and the tomatoes. With this fence gone, I can bring those tomatoes further over this way, and it'll give me more room to plant some things. So that's what I'm going to be doing this morning. Just doing some general cleanup, getting ready to do some late winter, early spring amendment to the soil. Make sure everything's prepped. I got a couple of tree limbs around the edge of the garden that I need to prune off to remove any potential shade. And after that, my next project is going to be running a water line from my house out here to the garden so that I can set up automatic watering. That was supposed to be one of the projects I was going to do last year, but my work schedule kept me so busy I ended up not even getting around to it. But it's critical I get to that this year. I've actually got a solar water timer. It's solar powered, no batteries, and it will automatically manage the watering of my garden. I want to do a review on that, but to do a review on that, I need to run a water line out here and set it up and actually test it for a little while before I can tell you how it does. I'm looking forward to trying to use it though, and I think that'll be a big game changer in my garden this year. So those are the next two big projects that I've got in mind. I've also, in addition to that, I mentioned cold frames in one of my most recent videos. I'm going to be building some. I had intended to do that this week again, but you know, overtime schedules. I've got way more things to do than I actually have time to do, and I'm sure most people can relate to that. So that's still on the agenda, but it's probably going to get done this next week instead of this weekend. I'm going to try to start it today, but I need to get some of this other stuff done first. But that's what I've got on my mind doing over the next couple of weeks. And again, I just want to stress how important it is that you don't just read books, you don't read magazines, watch YouTube videos, listen to podcasts or YouTube live streams or whatever talking about how bad things are going to get and what can be done about it. I need to stress to you how important it is that you actually get out and actually start doing something about it. It doesn't matter how much you do, the more you can do, the better off you'll be. But get something done, anything. Even if it's just one little project each week, get something done. You're gonna need it, and I guarantee you at some point this year, it will pay off in some way or another. Either through producing something that you need or helping build a skill set that will come in handy later on down the line. So that's all I've got this morning. I just wanted to shoot this quick video while I was out here doing this, and I've got to get back to work. I got a lot of work to do out here. But like, share, subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate you guys watching. Get busy, get things done, and I'll catch you guys later.